Okay. Hello, greetings, and welcome, weary traveler. I'm just trying to get my camera angle here to where I like it. And yeah, not the greatest, but is what it is. So I'm gonna have to go off memory here of my typical pattern because I need to be snappy. I need to leave in 45 minutes for an appointment to get my car fixed. So let's see if we can crank out a morning meditation in that amount of time. So, wrapping up some things from yesterday, I wanted to give a huge shout out to at Baba Ya Texas, Baba Ya TX, recommended by Yuriyuma. River Flows in You. It was a lovely piece. Thank you. It was a classical piano only, or like piano focused classical piece. It was lovely to listen to. And then at cousin dash club GKLIK. There's an I in there. Should have been an I in there. Recommended Brandon Lake's piece, That's Who I Praise. So both of those were excellent recommendations. So thank you so much. I've added them both to my Jackal Faves YouTube music playlist. So just know that the recommendation was heard and got approved. Essentially, it made it onto my playlist. So I appreciate that greatly. Um, so I'm not going to do an intro song because, for the sake of brevity, this morning we're just going to dive right into some stretching and breathing. So there's currently nobody in the live stream, but that's fine. We're gonna just stretch without them. So deep breath in and out. Okay. So I want you to picture the square. Okay. We're going to go into prayer pose. So we're going to do the four corners breathing in, and then the four corners breathing out. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so ready? And again, in, out. One more time. All right. So now for some stretches. So we're gonna stretch our hands up to the Lord above, up above, and reach down to the roots of the earth. Maybe stretch the neck a little bit. Now stretch your arms. Try to split your body in half. Reach as far as the east. Is from the west. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Roll your arms a little bit. Roll them forward. There it is. Roll them backward. Yeah. Okay. Twist a little bit. Twist to the left. Twist to the right. Twist to the left. Twist to the right. Arm across the body. Feel the stretch. Our other arm. Feel the stretch. Arm up and over. Focus on your breathing while you're stretching. Keep it in the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay. So now, head to the left. Head to the right. Hello, what kind of stream is this? So this is a morning meditation stream where we will be focusing on some stretching, some breathing. There will be a portion of about less than 3 minutes of silence to allow you to calm the hurricane that is life. And then I'm not gonna kid you around. There will be some Bible study going on. So we will get into some Bible verses, and I'll try to do like a modern take on what those are. So the car guy, I wish I could tell you that there'd be some information about cars, but sadly, the only reason I mentioned cars and probably why maybe the YouTube algorithm recommended it to you is I need to leave in 40 minutes to have my wife's car look. Okay, Bible's good. Absolutely, the Bible's very good. It's literally called the Good Book or the Good Word. So I'm glad to hear that you agree there. So what should we? We gotta roll the neck a little bit. Roll the neck out because I don't know about anybody else, but I've got some sleep grogginess that I'm trying to shake off. Okay, so now let's roll the shoulders back. Roll them shoulders back. Roll the shoulders forward. There we go. There we go. Hopefully you can feel some of that tension and that sleep grogginess leaving. So let's go ahead and shake it all out. Shake everything away. Stretches. Woo. Okay, so we did some deep breathing. Sorry, we did some square breathing. We did some stretches. So now let's get into the good word. As Car Guy 00 or OO mentioned, the Bible is good. So the square proverb for today, January 22nd, Thursday? Thursday, January 22nd, comes from Proverbs. So our square proverb is going to be chapter 10, verses 7 through 10. So I will be reading out of the ESV translation with my big old thick study Bible. So, the memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise of heart will receive commandments, but a babbling fool will come to ruin. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble, but a babbling fool will come to ruin. So there we have some wise words there from Solomon, some proverbs. Hello, Sutton Cows? Nouns? Counds? I'm gonna go with counds because it looks like nouns with a K. So now we're gonna deep dive into some of the footnotes here, the footers. So it says that all of the sections, chapter 10, verses 6 through 32, that although they are set into clusters, as a whole they contrast to the righteous and the wicked in order to illustrate that righteousness, in verse 2, is the path for a wise son, or really human. Now, I know Proverbs has a habit of referring to sons or man, but anytime you see that, really, I think you can really call it human. Humankind would benefit to follow Proverbs a little more closely. So I'm gonna update that here in my footnotes. So is the path for a wise human being. The phrase "the mouth of the wicked" opens and closes the section, which also includes other terms for the same idea. A babbling fool is lit. Foolish of lips, verses 8b and 10b. The recurring terms relating to the mouth, lips, tongue, etc., are connected to their relation to both hunger or desire and speech. What people desire and how they attain it are both indicators of the path they walk. So I've even heard it before that where a human being puts their treasure, where a human being spends their money, where their wallet lives, so does their heart also. So it's a quick little thing of like if your significant other is spending more money on maybe their fantasy football league than you, might be an indicator that they care more for that than they do you, or even that they're putting more money into like into some hobby of theirs, whether it be a pickup basketball league or painting miniatures or insert whatever. If they're spending more money on that than on you, the significant other, or really on the family as a whole, on the kids, on the house, on the upkeep, on the maintenance. It's one time obviously is a big thing, but even just money. So time and money are really great indicators for where somebody's heart truly lives. Now the footnote here for chapter 10, verses 6 through 11. Neither the blessings on the head of the righteous nor the violence that is hidden by the mouth of the wicked are necessarily obvious to an observer who sees only external facts. However, the one who is wise of heart walks securely, whereas the fool who makes his ways crooked will come to ruin. Thus, the mouth of the righteous manifests what is good for the speaker and for others. It is a fountain of life, whereas the mouth of the wicked conceals what is harmful both for others and finally for the fool himself. And now let's see the footer here on chapter 10, verse 10 is very quick. Whoever winks the eye is probably describing a person giving a concealed signal that he is lying. So whoever winks the eye, wink, wink, most likely causes trouble, but a babbling fool will come to ruin. So that's not so much even a contrast. I guess the contrast there would be somebody who is intentionally trying to cause harm, whereas somebody who accidentally causes harm. Both are dangerous. Both you need to be mindful of and cautious of, but one's definitely more dangerous than the other. So the verse I want to kind of highlight here is chapter 10, verse 9. So whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. So what I think of is the phrase, the truth will out. So we have where, I don't know if that would be considered an idiom or just a quick phrase. I think it's from a movie. I don't know which movie. You have to maybe ask Google. The truth will out. And then you have in Proverbs, it backs up that sentiment. And I think we all hope for and long for that sentiment that ultimately the truth is what's going to win. That the truth will find its way to people's eyes and hearts and minds, and that it's going to be the truth that wins in the end. And for me, there's no greater truth than this book right here. My not necessarily has to be the ESV. Whether it be if you're a KJV person, if you're an NIV person, if you're I also have here. It's my baptism Bible was New American Standard. So to me, it's not about the translation. It's about truly the meaning and the core tenets of the word. Oh, I missed it. Okay, somebody had put a Q&A. Sorry, I was focused on some other things. All right, so we did our square proverb. So next, moving along here quite nicely, is going to be a time for a call to needs, or some people might call it time of prayer. So I'm big on the camp that prayer is something meant to be prayer is meant to be something that you are done in secret, but in order for needs to be prayed for, there has to be a time for prayer requests. So I want to take this opportunity, if you want to drop in the chat something you would like people to pray for you or send you good vibes. Maybe you're not Christian right now, but you get how the Christians do their prayer thing, and you wanna hop on that bandwagon, and we'll send you good vibes. We'll pray for you. So this is your moment to drop that in the chat box below. While maybe you're considering what. Now I really want you though to ponder: is it a need or is it a want? So like for me, I maybe want a nice new laptop, but I don't need a nice new laptop because I have a laptop that works and gets the job done. So I'm not going to pray in good faith that God gives me a new laptop. That wouldn't make sense. Now I can say, hey, Lord, should it be your will, find me, open my eyes in such a way, walk me down a path, then maybe I have the extra $750 or extra $1,000 to spend on a laptop. But that's a lot of money. It's $1,000. A lot of good potentially could be done with $1,000, or even just a lot of things around my household could be done that benefits my household for $1,000. And like we were just mentioning, where somebody spends their money is an indicator for what they care about. So if I use that $1,000 to say to buy something for buy a bunch of clothes to give to a local homeless shelter, sure, that's a good thing to do. But ultimately, we're also told in Scripture that a man has to have his own household affairs in order before outreach, before ministry. So really, that $1,000, if I even should, let's say I, not much of a lottery player, but let's say I like to do one lottery scratcher every Friday. That's my Friday, every Saturday. That's my Saturday splurge, is to buy one $5 lottery scratcher. And one of those that I do it on a Saturday, I scratch it off, and boom, I've hit the $1,000. Oh my goodness, what do I do now with this influx of $1,000 cash? Well, I have to ask myself, there's things that I want and there's things that I need. Well, the things that I need, perhaps I've got some credit card debt that needs paid down. So sure, I could go and get myself the want of a laptop, or I could give to the needy and the poor, but maybe I need to have my affairs of my own household in order first to show the Lord, hey, Lord, you have entrusted me with a wife and 2 children, and I need to take care of them first before I go out and take care of your children. So, maybe it's best that I focus that $1,000 on clothing my own children, feeding my wife. No, obviously she works too, so it's not that I'm the only one. I'm not the sole provider for my household. But it's the concept of have your own affairs in order before tending to the affairs of those around you. So so far, not seeing any needs called out in the chat, and that's fine. Maybe everyone's needs are met, and that would be praise the Lord. But we're going to take some time of prayer. So a time of silence, meditative silence. I'm going to ask that we do 2 minutes and 47 seconds of shared, focused silence. Now, admittedly, I'm going to talk you through this, so consider it almost like some ASMR. I don't know if my voice has an ASMR quality, but I've done a little bit of cursory understanding of ASMR. So let's go ahead. And if nothing else, we're going to do 2 minutes and 47 seconds of ASMR, but hopefully it'll be a focused silence. And if nothing else, you can focus on the slow ticking of the circle in front of you so that you know exactly how much time is left. This time of silent reflection, of meditation, to really listen to your surroundings. For me, I can hear the furnace pumping out hot, warm air behind me, and how much a blessing it is that I have a furnace to warm my house, that I have a house to live in. So take this next 2 minutes and really think about the ways that God has blessed you. Do you have a roof over your head? Did you have a nice filling breakfast this morning? Are you going to have a warm lunch to fill your belly here maybe in a couple hours? You know, for me, it is 10 o'clock right now, and my mind's already on lunch. I'm not gonna lie. I can feel my belly starting to grumble and rumble. But let's be present in that moment. Feel yourself. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Do you need to just calm the hurricane and sit in the eye of the storm and ask God to give you some peace and contentedness? We're just going to do this for another minute and a half. Look at that, you're almost halfway there. And if you've done it half, you can do another half. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. If nothing else, focus on your breathing. Be intentional about the in and the out. In through the nose. Just another minute. About 2/3 of the way there. What's another third? I appreciate your comment, Joker Parker. I'm not going to read it out loud because I'm not going to give you that kind of sway and power. But to those who can see their comment, maybe. But I like to think of the old school definition of happy. And although I'm not happy right now, I am content. And there's a huge difference. And if you don't know that difference, perhaps after this moment of silence, maybe I'll cover that a little bit. But I don't think that's relevant to today's live stream. And I'm the one in charge here. By all means, leave. You're not going to upset me. We've got about 10 more seconds. Just focus on your breathing. In and out. And we're done. Okay. So not too bad. Hopefully that wasn't too uncomfortable and awkward for you. There was a need brought up yesterday from the from 2026 January 21. So yesterday, that they covered. They had requested a need that they were struggling with lust. And interesting that somebody would accuse me of being undercover for something here in the comment section. And totally you're right. I'm not going to deny your choice of words. But it would be rather hypocritical of me to try to espouse a book like this, which definitely condemns such behaviors, and even worse, undercover way. Because, you know, as we covered in our square proverb, that, where is it? Where was it? Yeah, the man who makes his ways crooked will be found out. So if I had crooked ways, the world would eventually find out. But that's between me and my wife and my 2 children and in my bedroom. And I like the policy that what happens in the bedroom, it's like Vegas, stays in the bedroom. So that's the policy I take. But you, Joker Parker W7D, you have your own answer, your own statements and sins to account for. I have mine. And while I'm not happy to be a sinful man, I'm content to be a sinful man and hoping to walk closer with the Lord each day. Which is a great segue here into our focus verse of the day, which is going to be James chapter 4, verse 8. So, James chapter 4, verse 8. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. So the footers here it's actually verses 7 through 9. So before I go into the footers, let's actually read what the footers are coming from. So I'm going to read James chapter 4, verses 7 through 9. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be wretched and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. So the footer here that I have in my ESV study Bible says that the only way to resist the devil is by also submitting and drawing near to God. You can check out the reference in 1 Corinthians 10:13. Satan, the devil, the enemy, the adversary, will be defeated and will have to flee, as indeed he did from Christ. You can check that out in Luke 4, verse 13. So then it has for verse 4b through 9, cleanse and purify are Old Testament terms for ritual purity. Example, the priests at the bronze basin in Exodus 30, verse 18, and ethical purity. Laughter shows how casually James readers were treating their sin. The only proper reaction to God's impending judgment is to be wretched and mourn and weep, as is seen often in the Old Testament. Examples are Isaiah 15 verse 2, 22 verse 4, and then Jeremiah 6:26. So what God's putting on my heart right now is to share, where's my struggle? Where's my sin that I'm battling? And actually I'm looking at the title here of chapter 4, and I'm going to read the whole chapter, the whole section that's under that header before I share what I've been struggling with. So the header is Warning Against Worldliness, chapter 4, verse 1. What causes quarrels and causes fights among you? Is it not this, that your passions are at war within you? You desire and do not have, so you murder. You covet and cannot obtain, so you fight and quarrel. You do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive. Because you ask wrongly, you spend it on your passions. You adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of God. Or do you suppose it is to no purpose that the scripture says he yearns jealously over the Spirit that he has made to dwell in us, but he gives more grace. Therefore it says, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he shall flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Be wretched and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. Do not speak evil against one another, brothers and sisters. Don't speak evil against another human being. The one who speaks against a brother or judges his brother speaks evil against the law and judges the law. But if you judge the law, you are not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is only one lawgiver and one judge, he who is able to save and to destroy. But who are you to judge your neighbor? Oh, thanks for coming on defense. But I literally just read the verse. Don't speak evil against one another, brother. Now, I guess technically, who is that brother? And it certainly seems that maybe Joker Parker is not a brother, not a brother in the faith. He who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. What version of the Bible is this? This is the ESV translation, so the English Standard Version. I'm a big fan of the ESV. It was my first ever study Bible. It really resonates with me when I read. So for me, when I'm checking out a copy of the Bible to see whether it clicks and really meshes with my soul, I go to, there's two verses that I always check out. Proverbs 25:28. So Proverbs 25:28, one of my life verses, one of my life motto verses, in the ESV translation reads, "A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls." So it speaks to the concept that one has to have control over your own self, your physical, mental, emotional self, in order to be defended from the woes and wiles of the devil. However, I like to flip it on its head, because if we flip it on its head and we say, okay, well, let's look about this the other way. What would a man without self-control, but still could a godly man be without self-control? And yes, because a godly man doesn't lean on himself, a godly man leans on God. And so a godly man who's dependent on God, well, then God has broken into him, has invaded him, and left him without walls because you don't need defended. The Lord will defend you. The Lord left a flaming sword to defend Eden because he knew we could not handle the responsibility of going in that garden and not eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because now that we have this knowledge, we risk eating of the tree of life. And if we ate of the tree of life, and this is my assumptions, these are my conclusions that I've drawn. I could be very well wrong. I'm speaking out my back end here. If we ate of the tree of life, we would forever be stuck in this hellhole of sin that we call physical realm. And God doesn't want that. God wants us to rejoin him in a spiritual realm. So in order for us to get beyond this sinful nature, we have to experience the physical death so that we don't experience the spiritual death that awaits those who don't accept the free and eager gift that is saving grace through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So there's pretty much the gospel in a nutshell, and stemming from Proverbs 25:28. The other verse that is a life verse for me that I always check out when comparing translations of the Bible to see whether they resonate to me. Exactly, yes, thank you. I'd be really curious to learn the verse of that, but that's what Gemini helps with doing that kind of research. But that resonates to like Paul definitely was interested in learning the mysteries of this world. And what I resonate, what I hope for, what I long for is that when we pass from this physical realm, all of those mysteries, because now we're no longer bound to time. Like, imagine what that's like. Imagine existing in a world that didn't have time. So literally, if you wanted something, it was done like that. It literally, in less time than it took me to snap, your desire was met. How much of a paradise would that be, right? So we're getting to like checking out translations of the Bible, and I highly recommend that if you've read the Bible, like pick out your motto verses, your life verses that if nothing else that you can't shake, that you have those mantras to lean on. And for me, it's Luke 12 verse 48. And it's really easy for me to remember because it's 1, 2, 4, 8. It's an exponential progression of multiplying by 2. So you double 1 to 2, you double 2 to get to 4, and you double 4 to get to 8. So in Luke 12:48, the ESV reads that, but the one who did not know and did what deserved a beating will receive a light beating. Everyone to whom much was given, of him much will be required, and from him to whom they entrusted much, they will demand the more. So for me, those verses resonate because that verse specifically resonates for two reasons. It's got broken into two parts, A and B. So the first part, A, kind of lets me know that, hey, if I've screwed up, if I've misstepped, but I didn't know that there was a line there that I crossed, sure, I'm going to get reprimanded, but it's not going to be the full severity of the law. So that's reassuring to me to know, even if I make a mistake, if I didn't know that it was going to be a mistake, I'm not going to get, pardon my French, I'm not going to get my ass beat. But also then it's the responsibility. Well, if you've been given the law, okay, 1 Corinthians 4:1 and 1 Corinthians. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead. I broke out. This is my baptism Bible. So I chose to be baptized on the 1st of June, 2014, and I've got it here for my life verse in Luke 12:48. So I was just covering Luke 12:48, and in the NASB, the New American Standard Bible, it reads that, but the one who did not know it and committed deeds worthy of a flogging will receive but few. From everyone who has been given much, much will be required, and to whom they entrusted much, of him they will ask all the more. And I like that, how it gives a sense of like, you'll ask all the more. So I'm going to leave my baptism card reminder of when I was baptized in my life verse there, Luke 12:48. Let's go ahead and pop over as Mr. Kev 77 recommended, 1 Corinthians. So 1 Corinthians towards the back, it's New Testament. It's definitely after Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So if you're trying to hunt down the Corinthians, it's a fairly long book for the New Testament at least. New Testament books are definitely a lot shorter. You can basically tackle each New Testament book a day. You might want to break the Gospels up a little bit, but after you get past Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you pretty much can hammer out the rest pretty, like I said, one per day. And there's 27, so literally in less than a month, in 23 days, you could read basically all of the New Testament, and you'd get a lot of it. Like, because Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are more of the historical account of what Jesus did during his time, Acts and Romans are again a little bit more historical. They're a little more meaty. So let's take away those first six. So from the 27 in the New Testament, you have we took away six, so 21 days. So in 3 weeks, you could read the New Testament and honestly be a rock solid Christian. If you really read, understood, and chewed on the lessons in what are called like the epistles, so the letters to churches around the literal first church, you'd be very well off when it comes to understanding what it looks like to be a Christian, or what it should look like to be a Christian. So we're looking here for 1 Corinthians 4, verse 1. The heading is Servants of Christ. So 4 verse 1, let a man regard us in this manner, as servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. Ooh, I love that. So yeah, it's like you've been given this gift of a mystery, and it's your responsibility as good steward to share that responsibly. Don't cast your pearls among swine, we're told, and I believe Jesus said that. So if we've been given a gift of a pearl, the last thing you'd want to do is throw it in a pig pen, because then the pigs are going to trample on it, the pigs are going to eat it, and they're not going to appreciate the value of that pearl. The other one, 1 Corinthians 13. Now, if I do recall, that's the love chapter. 1 Corinthians 13, verse dos. Yes, if I have the gift of prophecy and know all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. Yeah, I love the opening of 1 Corinthians 13. The imagery of like that. If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but do not have love, I have become a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. Yeah, because as a musician, which now we're getting into, we've done the deep dive here on James 48. Actually, I need to go back to my focus passage there. So we've read it. We've read some of the footers. There'd be a lot of footnotes going from verses 1 down to 12. It's pretty extensive, but I only got about 10 minutes left. So what I want to do is, for the last about 5 or 10 minutes here, we've read from the good book, we've read the good word, but I think truly music speaks volumes, and so there's something amazing in music that is just, you can't put to words. And when the words finally come, hopefully they sound just as sweet as something like the amazing grace that is offered to us through Christ. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. I just need the words, because I always get the lyrics messed up. So I'm going to go into my backup hymnal, The Living Hymns, Psalms, Hymns, and Spiritual Songs of Faith by the Striving Together Publishing Company. So Living Hymns here, I'm assuming if it doesn't have Amazing Grace, then this hymnal is not worth its salt. Any hymnal worth its salt should have Amazing Grace. It's a great go-to piece that is very easy to play, very easy to sing. And there it is, Amazing Grace, hymn number 187. So I'm going to flip to hymn 187 out of here. Just so I have the words. Odds are it's going to be in a different key than I'm playing in. I'm playing in the key of... I think it's the key of C. If it's not the key of C, then I can't think of what flat I'm playing in. Here it is, Amazing Grace. The key of F sharp, which this was something that somebody that I saw. It's the trick of flats. So this key is written in interesting. So might be the key of D actually. Oh, wait, it is. No, this is so this one's written by it is Amazing Grace. I believe is in the key of G. Yes, G is with one F sharp. So, but I just wanted the words. Holy crap! There's 6 verses. I don't remember there being 6 verses. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace shall lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. And when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I And sometimes words just don't do enough justice. This is As the Deer, one of my favorite hymns to play, my wife's favorite to listen to. As the deer panteth for still water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. I love you more than any other, only you can satisfy. You don't know if As the Deer is in this hymnal. Let's check real quick. And look at that, 10:30, just on time. It's funny how when you ask of the Lord to have me wrapped up by 10:30, the Lord provides. Or if you're a fan of The Good Dinosaur, the storm provides. But God is not the storm. God is the calm amidst the storm. I firmly believe that. So if you feel that the hurricane of life is a bit too much, I highly encourage you to keep an eye out for when this live stream becomes a VOD, a video on demand, and you can rewatch it. This one does not have As the Deer, and that's fine. That is just fine. Not every hymnal can have everything. It has Amazing Grace, and that's what matters. So, wrapping up this live stream, I hope you've enjoyed it. To the one current viewer and the 3 thumbs up, I appreciate you so much. Trying really hard to push for monetization. Not so much on this channel, but I'm trying to sandbox and playground what's potentially going to work to get me to maybe where my next YouTube channel will grow much faster, much quicker, and achieve monetization a lot faster. Or even, I have a Patreon, so if you have enjoyed this live stream, if you've watched the VOD, and you've got any kind of value, whether you laughed at me, you laughed with me, you cried with me, you took something away from it, please head on over to Patreon. You can search Jackal Bruit Creations. That is Bruit, spelled fruit with a B. I know, I gotta get to the ads. I understand that somebody tuned out. But I have mouths to feed, bills to pay. So I have to do the quick here ad read for my own personal Patreon. Go over to Patreon, like I said, Jackal Bruit, that's BRUIT, Bruit, fruit with a B, Creations. You'll find my ugly mug right there. and I offer a free membership, so you can just kind of keep an eye and ear on what I'm doing over on Patreon. There are three levels of membership. There's a $5, a $20, and $100 monthly membership. So based on those, you can be just a paying member, a contributing member, or basically like a founding member. I can't remember exactly how I label them, but they give you various levels of really access to me and my content. Literally, I think for the $100, I will give you my phone number, and so you can text me at all hours of the night. And given my current work schedule, I most likely will be up and can answer you. You get some say on what verses are used here in the morning meditation. You can maybe direct what some content I'm going to have on my YouTube channel. So if you want to have a guiding hand on my YouTube channel, all you have to do is hop over to Patreon. Like I said, jump on the $20 or $100 a month subscription monthly membership package, and become help me feed my two younglings, my two fur babies, the missus. You can help me, and so I will help you in return. So it's people helping people. That's what we're all about here in Central Pennsylvania. I'm going to close with looking up here in Gemini. What does Gemini recommend for a good hymn to go with the scripture James 4:8? So good hymn to accompany a sermon on James 4 verse 8. And Gemini is thinking. And so James 4:8 is a powerful invitational verse. He quotes it. Depending on the specific angle of your sermon, here are a few hymn suggestions. The classic choice would be Nearer My God to Thee. So this perhaps is the most direct lyrical reflection of the text. It emphasizes the soul's desire to close the distance between itself and the divine, even through trials. The theme is spiritual proximity and longing. It's best for a sermon focusing on the draw near to God command. You also have a second, the prayerful choice, which is I need thee ever. I need thee, oh, I need thee. Yeah, oh, Chili, yeah. Hey, again, I just want to say thanks for praying for me yesterday. I definitely felt that prayer. That's awesome. Yeah, I even mentioned, I had my note right here, prayed for you again. I did. I tried to ask for good vibes for, I didn't mention any details or even your handle. I was just like, hey, there was somebody yesterday during the needs section that had called out, you're struggling with lust. So I'm so glad to hear that. That really warms my heart to know that we did some good. Hopefully you'll be able to check out the VOD here. I'm going to be wrapping up the live stream here in about 2 or 3 minutes. I have a car appointment. My wife's car is having some issues that we need to get just minor stuff figured out. So I'm closing here with some suggested hymns. I'm a big I'm not the music man, but I'm a music man. Highly recommend the musical though if you've never seen it. Specifically, I think it's the James Broderick. I want to say he did a movie of The Music Man. Really great music, really great movie. But yeah, totally Chili. How can I forget Chili? It comes to mind like Chili from Bluey, the mom from Bluey. I don't know if you're male, female, or if you just really like Chili, or how you came up with your handle there. But that's what stuck in my mind was thinking of that's the association that my brain made. So right, so the prayerful choice is I need thee. I need thee, oh I need thee, oh I need thee every hour. So this hymn highlights the why behind James 4:8. We draw near because we recognize our total dependence on God's grace to resist the world. The theme being humility and constant reliance, best for a sermon focusing on the vulnerability and need for God's presence. A third option is a call to holiness. Take time to be holy. James 4:8 continues with a call to cleanse your hands and purify your hearts. This hymn speaks to the discipline required to maintain a close walk with God. Theme, sanctification and spending time in prayer, best for a sermon focusing on the second half of the verse, repentance and purity. And then you have the fourth suggestion, the response of worship, draw me nearer, parenthetical, I am thine, O Lord. Fanny Crosby's classic captures the intimacy of the verse perfectly, especially the refrain, draw me nearer, nearer, blessed Lord, to the cross where thou hast died. The theme would be consecration and devotion, best for an altar call or a closing song of commitment. And then I love it, giving you a little table for a comparison at a glance. So give me 2 recommendations of modern Christian praise and worship songs to accompany sermon on James 4:8. So those are hymns. So those are a little more classically rooted. But let's take a look at what Gemini would recommend for more of a contemporary praise and worship piece. Because maybe hymns aren't your thing. Maybe you're more of the 10 o'clock crowd, not the 8 o'clock crowd, as the church culture would jest. So of course it goes with an alternative. So there's three recommendations. I don't really have the time to deep dive, so I'm just going to give the song titles. "Give Us Clean Hands" by Chris Tomlin. Oh, love Chris Tomlin. So absolutely would I'm just going to go with a recommendation based on that. And "Draw Me Close" by Kelly Carpenter, popularized by Michael W. Smith. The alternative would be "Nothing Else" by Cody Carnes. So I'm going to leave you there with some music recommendations. You can check them out. Some 4 different hymns you can look into. Three contemporary praise and worship pieces. Don't forget to stretch, drink your water, all that jazz. But above all, be the salt of the earth. Seek the truest and brightest of lights. But really, honestly, get off your sacred screen. You've been on it long enough. If you've been with me for this entire live stream, we've been going on 15 minutes. If you've been watching this VOD, even at double time, you've been on the screen for 25 minutes. Go out, take a deep breath, touch grass, but most of all, listen to God and do something amazing already. Peace be with you and your digital kin.